What's worse than a bad anime? A brilliant one. A brilliant one that becomes a train wreck right before your very eyes. It's a special kind of betrayal. You find a new show and the first few episodes are pure perfection. I mean, the story is gripping, the animation is stunning. You found your show. And then it happens. What started as a masterpiece is now a tangled mess of rushed plot points and bizarre choices. From butchered stories to animation that melted down, these are the top 5 anime that fell off harder than anybody could have seen coming. Kicking off our list at number 5, we have a certified classic whose second season fractured its fan base, Death Note. I mean, the first part of this series is legendary. The cat and mouse game between L and Light, probably one of the most thrilling conflicts in anime history. The suspense was 10 out of 10, forcing all of us to really question our own ideas of justice. But then it happens. After L's shocking death, the show's central dynamic is then ripped away. His successors Nier and Mello were brought in, but for many, they utterly failed to fill the void, honestly just coming off as hollow echoes of the old rivalry. The story devolved from a tight psychological chess match into a conflict that felt very repetitive and drawn out. While still a phenomenal show, many fans agreed that Death Note lost its soul halfway through, becoming a far less gripping series after its halfway point. Coming in at number 4 is a recent but particularly nasty burn. Ninja Kamui. This show exploded onto the scene with some of the most fluid and brutal hand-to-hand combat we've seen in years. The first episode really delivered a visceral, action-heavy revenge story that made this feel like a real modern ninja masterpiece. But the drop-off happened very fast. After setting an incredible standard with 2D action, the series inexplicably, no reason, I literally still to this day do not understand why, they pivoted from that to clunky, poorly rendered CGI mecha battles. Yes, the slick, grounded combat that initially hooked everybody into this show was tossed aside for awkward and visually jarring CGI. This whiplashing style was a massive bait and switch, and honestly, it was a big middle finger to the very audience it had won over in the beginning. At number 3, we have a series whose fall from grace actually became a meme. 7 Deadly Sins. Yes, you knew it was gonna be on this list. The first 2 seasons of this show were amazing. Animated by A1, shout out A1, I need solo leveling. 7 Deadly Sins was a classic, enjoyable shonen anime with solid animation, epic fights, it was a certified hit. Then the studio changed. After the movie underperformed, production for season 3 was then handed over to Studio Dean. But it wasn't just a dip in quality that made it so bad. It was an absolute catastrophe. Iconic fights that should have been seasonal highlights were animated so poorly that it became unintentionally hilarious. I can't stress this enough. It didn't just decline, it nosedived. A once great and very much loved series turned into a community-wide joke overnight. Our runner-up at number 2 is the long-awaited horror adaptation of Uzumaki. After years of hype, the first episode premiered and it was absolutely perfect. The unique black and white art style masterfully captured the deeply unsettling, spiraling horror of Junji Ito's iconic manga. But then that dream turned into a nightmare with the second episode. The animation quality took a complete nosedive. It looked like it was made by a completely different team. It was later revealed that the production was a complete disaster. An executive producer admitted that the team was screwed over, in his words, and that their only options were to either cancel the show, release only that stellar first episode, or air all 4 episodes regardless of how bad they might be. And as you can tell, they chose the last option, and what we got was a rushed, choppy mess that utterly failed to live up to its terrifying legacy. And finally, taking our number 1 spot, which you might have already guessed, is what might be the most infamous and heartbreaking falloff in recent memory, The Promised Neverland Season 2. The first season was a global phenomenon, praised for its incredible suspense, psychological depth, and faithful adaptation. It was a masterpiece. And then came season 2. Season 2 didn't just drop the ball. You could go as far to even say that it was an act of sabotage to its own story. In a baffling decision, the production team chose to skip critically important manga arcs, most notably the fan favorite Goldie Pond arc. This led to a rushed, nonsensical plot, cramming over 100 manga chapters into just a handful of episodes. Key characters were never introduced, the rich narrative was completely gutted, leaving anime-only fans very confused and manga readers betrayed. The goodwill that was built by season 1 was torched, cementing its legacy as the ultimate example of how to demolish a beloved series. From disastrous stories to full-on production meltdowns, these shows are literal proof that having a brilliant start guarantees you nothing. And they definitely broke our hearts, but at least they gave us something to talk about. But that's just my list. I know y'all got some strong opinions out there. What anime do you think fell off the hardest? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I post weekly content. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what anime hurt you the most.